I was quoted over $300,000 to build this HOA monstrosity that I call a dream shop here in my backyard. And because of that, it nearly never happened. I had to find a way to cut 70% off of that price, and the only way to do that was to do it myself. And despite having never done anything like this before, we dove head first, knowing we are going to make mistakes along the way. Solid. Found a metal building company, designed the skeleton, but once that skeleton was up, my budget was only sufficient enough for me to do the rest with my own two hands, despite Texas weather trying to destroy it every chance it gets. Well guys, not how we want to start this video, not at all. But we'll find out in the next hour or so how good of a builder I am, because if this thing is still here, we'll be good.
You live in these locations, you need to seek shelter immediately.
There's a tornado at 25 minutes over there, and it's heading here. Gosh dang it, we are in for a ride. Dang it, just in my roof. Sorry. Well, that was a fun ride last night. But we got through it. All the cars made it through, and the shop is still standing with every single shingle still attached. So, big win for the house, big win for the shop, bigger win for the cars, including my neighbors. Raptor would have been obliterated in that fun storm last night, but lots of great progress from our last video. We had a big issue with framing our eave ends of the building. When we designed this thing, I didn't take into account where that wall would come up and connect to the roof or the building itself. So we had to get creative. We're running 2x4s all the way across this way, and I wasted a lot of material. Just the pains of learning how to do this stuff. I think it looks cool though. But the first thing we have to do before we uncover that fun is replicate this over there. Then we're gonna frame out this entire wall with our 4 giant windows. Need to clean up this mess. All right, me and a little homie going for a quick trip because I gotta figure out what to use for something on the building that I don't know what to do with. Fortunately, my father-in-law is building a house 20 minutes up the road. House is looking good. More importantly, the 4-car garage. Oh wow, he spray foamed it. So the house is looking really good. I've been secretly kind of watching this go up. A few different reasons. Number one, it's a custom builder. He does really good work. Number two, my father-in-law was an engineer for like 30 years. So if there's gonna be a sturdy building. The reason we're actually here is this stuff that goes on the bottom underneath on the other side of the wall sheathing. I don't know what this is actually called. If you know what it is, leave it in the comments below, but I need some of this because before the wall sheathing gets nailed onto the studs, you run this on the back side. Because this is porous, water does penetrate through, run down along the wall and then out the weep holes. Now this plastic stuff at the bottom goes underneath the brick to allow that water to escape. I just gotta figure out where the heck to get this. So we have our brick, our wall, but most importantly, we have our favorite sponsor sponsoring today's video. And you know the deal, it's our sponsors over at AG1. That's a lot of drywall. Ken, are you drywalling this entire garage? Yep. That's gonna be sweet, guys. Now, when it comes to a wellness routine, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I know what's up. I'm up at 5 a.m. every single morning and then go into a very high cardiovascular exercise, water, meditating.
You do what? Try again.
The reality is that morning routine that everybody wants to execute, it's very difficult. What is easy to execute though, and I'll be able to implement into my day-to-day routine, is a simple daily foundational nutrition that supports whole body health, your brain, your gut, and the immune system. I'm gonna sit on your drywall, Kent. Now, my favorite part about AG1, besides how it makes you feel throughout the day, is how easy it is to implement into your day-to-day routine. If you're at home, you got a cool canister, you pull out your fridge, get a scoop on the go, a little bit of water, tear that green goodness open. AG1 lays the groundwork for long-term health so we can continue to do the things that matter most to us. It supports immune defenses with essential vitamins and minerals and focus and energy day in and day out. Everybody's life's a little bit crazy. we get it. Ours is too. Even with all that craziness, implementing AG1 into your day-to-day routine, a no-brainer. I'm gonna be wired today now. Just watch. Guys, go to drinkag1.com/Lonestar Hawaiian to get yourself a welcome kit with a canister, shaker, stop laughing at me, 5 AG1 travel packs on top of vitamin D3, K2. Link in description below. Thank you again to AG1 for sponsoring today's video, making things like this eventually hit my house. Let's go. All right, lightning, thunder, metal building. I don't know a lot about science. Probably a bad idea to be playing with metal building while lightning's touching the ground about a mile that way. We're gonna run for some lumber. Gotta love spring in Texas. That is the joy of having these bottom plates now installed. The water doesn't run anywhere. It just kind of sits and pulls up. We've also just got back from another lumber run. 39 2x4x10s, a couple of bottom plates, and a couple for the top plates. Once this stuff gets squeegeed out, dried up a little bit, keep on moving. Despite the 2 lovely storms we just had, we were able to finish the ceiling portion. So every 2 feet, 2x4x8, strapped to the underside of the purlin, screwed in every 2 feet. And now we get the fun job of figuring out our walls. One of the most popular comments in the last video was saying the walls are a lot easier to frame on the ground, and then you flip them up once they're done. We're gonna try that on this side. What's that?
Camaro.
The Camaro or the Corvette? Mom's got friends in town from New Zealand, so they want to check out the American muscle. Hey, they could take the Mercedes out.
I offered.
Yep, it's stuck in first gear. Can't shift out at first, so it just wraps out at 40 miles an hour. We're gonna lay our bottom plate down, mark where all those windows are going, where all the 16-inch on center studs are going, pull that bottom plate back off, and nail them together. For the first section, we successfully did put the wall on the ground, nail it together, and then flip it up. I don't know if that was any easier than doing it stud by stud. A lot of these studs are twisted a little bit, and I can kind of pull and twist them back to straight and then nail them in. Whereas if I built it on the ground and then flip it up, a lot of these are slightly twisted and it's kind of bothering me. I do suffer from OCA, obsessive compulsive advantage. But we're gonna go stick by stick for this last portion, and I think on this side, I'm gonna try it on the floor again. We'll go from there. So I accounted for all the 16 on centers when I put down the anchor bolts prior to the concrete. However, I moved windows around 10 times before finalizing this plan. I've run into things like this, so I'm gonna have to notch out. Stay. We've got this side framed out. Now we're ready for our windows. So we're gonna go ahead and put in our jack stud, our header, our sill, and then all of our cripples. So 95 inches is the height of the window, but our jacks are gonna be cut at 93.5. So I'm gonna cut 2 of those, and then our header, 39 inches. So I need 2 at 39 inches, and a couple of those. back at it, and decided to rain. Our weather forecasters get the weather right 2% of the time. I, however, can predict any weather because it's always in the exact location of the side I'm working on in the shop. We are working in the rain. Fun stuff. Also, in other news, I fixed my tool belt with zip ties. Let's go. So we're gonna do this one on the floor, nail it all together. Oh, I love the weather. 16 on center, all the way across. King, our jack, and then our window rough opening with the cripples underneath, and then back to 16 on center across. Don't nail into your hand, and go. This top corner. And boom goes the dynamite. Well, that's all she wrote for today. Jeez, can't win with this weather. Walking here through my entrance door with our 4 6-foot tall, 3-foot wide windows on the east side. Really happy with the spacing, the staggering of these windows. We did pretty much move all 4 windows forward a few feet because here in this back corner, I want to build somewhat of a shelving unit and I didn't want to be in the way of the window. So that's going to work perfectly. And then behind me, solid brick wall, no windows on purpose because from a filming perspective, it works a lot better when we have that natural light coming in from the front and it's not competing with anything behind me. We're gonna have our solid steel door on the front side, 3-foot by 5-foot window at the height of my countertop. So our countertop will sit just underneath that window. And then here on the back side, 3 fairly large 4-foot wide, 2-foot tall windows placed at a height that my toolbox, even fully open, can fit up underneath those windows and it won't interfere. Very strategic with everything we're placing and where we're placing it. And then here, you see these little Sharpie marks. We have marked where our reinforced concrete is, where eventually our 2-post lift will go. Question is though, what brand do we go with? Let me know in the comments below if you have a recommendation for a 2-post lift, because yeah, I'm excited for that. And I wish we could say we were almost done with the framing, but we're not. We have blocking in between all of these 2x4 studs, put them at 4 feet and 5 feet on the east and west side of the building. On top of that, I need to run another 2x4 all the way up the rake ends, and this is why. Because we framed up underneath our red iron I-beam, when we sheathe the wall, there's nothing for that sheathing to nail to up underneath those purlins. So what we're gonna do is run a 2x4 all the way across the rake ends. That way when we sheathe, we can sheathe all the way up to the very underside, nail it into that 2x4, and we'll be secure. We got the coppers out. Trying to catch people for speeding. She's the worst speeder in the world. I know going that way, do not speed.
Okay.
Bye. Man, that was a pain in the butt, but it was necessary. We got our 2x4 screwed in on the bottom side of our purlins, going all the way up the rake end and all the way back down. That way we can do our saw fit. I'm gonna be very sore in the morning from that, but a whole lot of wood to metal screws all tied in and down the other side. We do have to replicate it on the front, but check out this blocking. The entire shop is blocked. I love this staggered block to 4 and 5 feet. I love seeing this. But unfortunately, out of self-tapping wood to metal screws again. I'm sick of buying these things. They're so expensive. Tex wood to metal screws, 2 3/4 length. Yeah, it's like 50 bucks for 200 of them. Back again, another Friday afternoon. Given it's weekend, it's been beautiful all week long. You're probably gonna be able to hear some wind noise through the mic. We have 30-mile-an-hour winds today, and I was so ready to uncover my wall sheathing. Oh my gosh! But a 4x8 piece of plywood and me running solo, not a recipe for success. I'm gonna get blown over. So I need to get over here and clean some of this stuff up. We spent several months collecting a bunch of crap. Tomorrow, we got the whole family coming over for an Easter egg hunt. We're gonna clean some of this stuff up, get it somewhat safe for a bunch of kids running around, and hopefully this wind calms the heck down. Well, the weather's looking a little more cooperative today, guys. Off camera, we did a lot of like meticulous work with some of the framing. We actually had to run additional 2x4s here in the corner, added additional bracing, in addition to the middle wind column. It actually sits right where that 16 on center is, so we added another stud. So all the little meticulous framing things are pretty much done besides this gaping hole behind me. Depending on the specs required for the overhead space, I think I can fit about a 13-foot door, and that's 13 feet in height. Did you have fun at the egg hunt? Yeah. Who found the golden egg? Yeah. That was a blast. And it turns out my cousin's little boy is as much as a car nut as I am. Just a good time helping that next generation of car enthusiasts get addicted to the thing that will take every penny of their earnings for the foreseeable future. And this is why I never get anything done. I get really carried away. So this is going on the wall, guys. What do you think?
Good.
Did I do a good job?
Yeah.
Shoot. He asked me for a palm tree, so I got him a palm tree. We'll see you back in the morning, because now we're out of light. This is why it takes so long to do these things. It's my fault. It is. Guys, made some progress. The greatest cameraman in the world is back on the job.
Aloha.
Right on. All right, come on, bud. As with things going around here, we have a massive thunderstorm coming in right now. We're getting everything cleaned up, strapped down, because last time that thunderstorm ran through, things went flying. We got our wall! We got our first wall partially built. We're gonna see a lot of that in our next episode. That's gonna do it for today, because the weather is putting a stop on this. Thank you, bud.
Welcome. Cheers.
In all seriousness, guys, I am super excited with this. We have essentially all of our walls framed, ready to go besides our garage door. I want to go with more of a commercial grade door versus the ones you see on typical storage units. It's very expensive. I want to be sure I'm going with the right one. We framed that entire east side wall, got 4 windows put in there. The placement, the staggering, everything. It looks so cool. And then basically that blocked off now. It looks even cooler because we have somewhat of a wall. And my neighbors don't need to stare at me through that, so that's somewhat blocked off now. Never done anything like this before, but I am enjoying every single second of it. Lonestar Hawaiian, we'll catch you in a few days for our next video. Until that day comes, y'all take care. Ahui ho! Aloha. Looks like they got their termite treatment, they got the spray foam everywhere. And do you want to help me film just for a second? Am I giving you away? Scary face. Can I get a shoots?
Me?